we've got these two Friesians out. The near side horse, i.e. nearest the curb. The near side horse I broke about 18 months ago. And he's still, like if you look at the films, the original film of this particular horse, he's doing everything. When he's got home, the fella's, nothing major's gone wrong, but it's constantly, not so much now, but it's constantly looking to the near side, you know, like anything in the hedge. You can see now where its head's laid off. You see there, for instance, just moves away from the hedge. There's nothing there to worry it. It's not like there's a plastic bag or anything. Again there, can you see, if you just study that horse on the near side for a minute, you can see what I mean. Just look, then you can see pushing over on the pole there and moving away. So something is done. I've talked to the fella about it who owns them, and he says there's a little bit of paper there now. He wouldn't take any notice of that. I can tell you that before I get there. So it's something. Now this one on the offside then just come over to the near side. That's because in that field the other day when we come past, there was bullocks in there. Also the other thing is, which is really funny, if she sees her shadow on the ground there, look, there, you see, look, she's looking and wondering what it is. That's because she's just a youngster, you know, she's just... So anyway, so the story is, this one was 18 months ago, was broken. It's come back. The only problem it's got is rattly vehicles coming up behind it. You know, when it went away, it was fine. The films are there to prove it, but it's the person that owns them and drives them. They got to listen to me, and you know, remember a simple thing. I try and keep it as simple as I can, because there's no great mystery in training horses, really. Obviously, experience helps, doesn't it? Must do in anything you do, but the basic rules are the same. All these horses are. It's not to demeanour them or to, you know, in any way put them down. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is they are the engine. It's up to us to do everything else. They are the motive power to move this vehicle along. Everything else is down to the driver. So when people say to me, you know, oh, it's a real good horse, it's lovely, but it doesn't do this. Well, if you don't do that, it's not a real good horse, is it? Because it's bloody dangerous on a public highway. You know, they say to me it won't stand at a junction, or walk up when you're told. You have to let it run. I've heard this one so many times, which is totally ridiculous. You've got to let it run, you know, let it do the first couple of miles. It likes to do that really fast. Then it settles down. That is no good. You're not driving the horse is making the decision. And I hear that one loads of times. It's brilliant, but it does that. Well, it don't. It's got to walk out the yard if that's what you want. You must be able to control the engine. You don't get in your car and the engine all of a sudden revs up and goes away on its own, or the steering turns left or right. So it's pretty simple, really. So what the fella's done, when the horse is, something's happened. I mean, I don't know, I've no way of knowing, but it could be something as simple as he come close to the hedge, there was a big strong twig or small branch sticking out, tickled the horse up the ribs, and he's, you know, she's looking for that. But you see here now, look, they're exactly the same thing, but it's not necessarily like this shine on this little pot here, these tulips, early tulips out. You know, sometimes they'll glance at them, but it's not that. It's just generally a general awareness that that's the verge, that's the hedge, that's the wall, you know, and I don't want to be too near it. So that tells me something's happened to upset the horse. Not terribly bad. The other thing he said that a lorry overtook, and then a bus, I believe, in close succession, quite noisy, quite rattly. Well, what the horse wanted, and he says then it didn't like stuff overtaking it, just, well, what it was actually before that the problem started, but the lad hasn't the experience, and that's where experience comes in, to understand what the problem was before and nip it in the bud. Yeah. Now look, see that lad's just opened up the back of his truck. This horse here, yeah, has had a look at it. Weighed up the situation, and is quite happy to go on. But let's say that lad there opened the back door on his little van, you know, lifted the tailgate up, and he pulled out something, and it, I don't know, let's say it was a big pot of paint, yeah, and the pot of paint shot over the road, you know, burst open, shot over the road, or he had a load of tools in the trunk, or he was throwing on rubbish, anything like that. The next time this horse sees the same situation with someone opening the tailgate on a little van, that's what it will remember. The tailgate opened and something terrible happened. They haven't got the logic to work out. I'm going to do a talk on that to try and explain what I mean, because people just don't seem to. I mean, you don't have to agree with me or what's it. I'll just say it how I see it. You know, you've got to understand horses, to break horses, to train horses, or gentle them, or whatever you want to call it. You've got to be in control of them. You know, you've got to be knowing their body language inside out, knowing what they're saying to you. People say if only they can talk, they can talk if we want to listen. And they talk through their body language. And obviously their vocals when you start to understand them. But you've got to dedicate a lot of time to it. I mean, all I've done all my life is driven horses. So anyway, getting back to these two. So this horse here, something's happened along the edge of the road that's upset the horse. And the noise up behind it, something happened before that, because when it was here, walk up. I mean, the fella's walk up. He's not complaining about his horse in any way. You know, he loves the horse and drives it all over the place. He just said them two things. So what we'll do is get them out of it. What I'm trying to say to you, maybe before the lorry overtook and before it made the noise it made, stand still, baby. Before it, the lorry overtook and the noise it made, something else has happened. Now, he hasn't been able to read the body language of the horse. So it's being driven single, the horse on the near side here. And he's going up the road. Now, I would have read his body language, so it might have been a noise behind he'd not heard before, something a little bit unusual, and his ears would have moved. He'd have tightened himself, he'd have tucked his tail maybe. All them little tiny little signs that you can pick up on. Now, I know people say to me, well, I can see his ears move, but it's also, when you've been doing it for a long time, it's not only the ears move, but it's the way in which they move, the speed in which they move, the tightness, the stiffness of the ear. Are they soft or stiff? Yep. So all them things come in, and the tail, where it's set on the horse, you can have a look. Often you'll see in my films, I've got a tail tied up. That's for two reasons. One, to see how close they are behind, are they going to brush? Which is another thing I want to do a talk about one day, and shoeing. So you can, when you've got the tail bobbed up and tied up, you can see much more movement in the tail, and you can learn how that horse talks to you. So because the lad hasn't got that experience, he never picked up. So then that problem escalated. You've all had that problem, you know, people have had problems with horse. It started like that and it got worse and worse and worse, and it will. But if you remember these two things, you know, really, is one, most important of all, is that these are the motive power. They are the engine, and you must do everything else. So they don't, they walk when they walk, they when you ask them to walk, they walk. When you ask them to trot, they trot. When you ask them to canter, when you ask them to, you know, whatever you ask them, they've got to answer. Yeah? And then they're safe on the public highway. Now this nearside horse has been here with us 4 weeks, yeah? It'll be going home after Easter, like next weekend. 4 or 5 weeks it's coming to now. Now, she'd never been in harness before, and look at her stand there. But watch what they're doing. You see the two differences in these horses, if only you can see. One horse there, the near side horse, this girl on the offside is really interesting. This lady stopping and coming down here. Sharp ears, very crisp. The other one's much softer. Seen it all before. So much softer in that horse than it is in this one. And there's, you know, there's so much to observe. It's a bit hard to, you know, to make you understand maybe, But as we go on, I'll talk. So this horse here now, I'm trying to talk to you and pay attention to my horses, which is always hard. So this horse here, he's got his leg at rest, just standing up again now, leg going at rest. She's very happy and contented. When that lady come and that car stopped and the door opened, she was on all 4 feet. She was standing up, pricked her ears sharp. What's this? The nearside horse was, that's someone getting out of the car. I don't recognise her. Don't think she's got any carrots. So no point in paying any attention. Do you know what I mean? That type of thing. Now, next thing to say, talk about this offside horse. It's lovely. It's doing its job and it's doing very well. But what it does, and you can't, all that nonsense about, well, give her a smack, don't give her a smack, that's the worst thing you can do. She needs to take in every single bit of information she can to be happy doing what she's being asked to do. She needs to take in all that information. If you watch her go around, you'll see. So what she does, when she takes in the information and she's trying to decipher it in her head exactly what she's seeing, to interpret what she's seeing and smelling and hearing, what she'll do is slow up immediately. Now another horse will move to the left or to the right, yeah? Another horse will go on a bit faster. You know, she don't do any of that, but she slows up. So then the nearside horse, you know, feels more weight on his collar, therefore pushes on a bit harder. Also, the nearside horse is quite a bit taller, although it doesn't look like it now because of the way the camber of the road. But he's a bigger horse. That's why she's a bigger horse. We put him over there to level him up a bit. So obviously, there's a slight amount of difference in the length of the leg. Obviously, it's got to be. You know, the horse, you know, can have a bigger frame, but it's in the leg mainly. And obviously, if you've got a horse with longer legs, you've got a longer stride. So this horse got to work harder to keep up.